morning. My name is Sister Neriza, and I lived by Cursillo September of 2009 in Camp St. Francis, Cursillo number 79, and my victory is Our Lady of Lourdes. Okay, tonight I will be talking about one of the key elements in the Ultreya, the witness talk. I think you all know about the Ultreya, so I'm just going to read it through. So if it's wrong, you just throw something at me. You can change the bread. I'll catch it. Okay. Ultreya witness talk is preferably given by a Cursillo member, ideally from our small reunion group, and the talk should last about 10 to 15 minutes. A witness talk attempts to bring about the transformation of an environment to be more of a Christian environment. This talk should awaken a desire among the listeners to renew their own efforts at evangelizing their own environment. Sister Felicia was very, very inspiring with her talk, so this is also evangelizing the witness talk is. The speaker must be careful not to sound too instructional. The talk should encourage by example and not by theory. Witness speaker of the Ultreya give witness to their spiritual growth so that others may be encouraged to go and do the same. The Ultreya witness talk exposed Cursillistas to many different witnesses or examples, so the listeners may hear a wide range of possibilities for Christian growth and action. The speaker offers concrete examples on how to live as a Christian in family, neighborhood, place of work, or with friends. It is sharing in a practical way that should inspire imitation. A witness talk is delivered as a living experience of what the speaker is or believes. As in all Cursillo talks, a truth is presented. And then the living experience from the life of the speaker is witnessed to. A recent example from the speaker's life should be given to show the validity of the truth in the actual experience. By preparing ahead of time through prayers and palakpa for discernment as to what to share and how to share. Now we all know we like to hear more, more of the stories so that we can follow suit with what their experience is. The witness will be natural, sincere, and personal if one is prepared to do so. If we think back about our past witness speakers, we hear their stories. We are touched by them, and in the end, it inspires us to live a better Christian life, and that is the purpose of the witness talk, really. Scriptures should be used to relate the truth to life and to the experience itself, so the community may see more deeply in the Word of God. The witness should be a personal sharing of one's growing union with Christ, growing knowledge of Christ, bringing others to know Christ or the changing of circumstances so that Christ is better known, loved, and served. The witness speaker should keep the witness talk short, simple, and enthusiastic. It should be very well balanced so that it is not, okay, an emotional high. But we like to see them cry. We should. But sometimes it affects us, so it's a good thing too. But it should not be a tale of extraordinary events. People can better relate to God in ordinary circumstances of daily life. Or it could not be irrelevant to life. Keep it down to earth, that's what it means. A propaganda message for a favorite organization, we cannot do that either. Or an outpouring of personal troubles that ends in a call for help. So those are not the no-nos. The speaker should be one who is living the truth of the witnessing. When a person talks about what he is living, it is always told well. When the Ultreya leaders seek out speakers who live in the life of grace, we will surely get a holy testimony. Those who live close to God will reflect Him. A person cannot share what the person does not have. It is important that those who share do so because of the testimony of the life they live and not because it is their turn to share or there wasn't anyone else available to speak. Otherwise, we will end up with a speaker who will dazzle us with their wits or knowledge and not a true reflection of God in our life, thus defeating the purpose of a witness talk. The Ultreya leaders should never select someone to be a witness speaker for the sake of getting that person re-involved in the Cursillo. Remember this. So, not to re-involve with the Cursillo movement. The Ultreya team members are encouraged to invite the fallen Cursillistas to the Ultreyas, but only as participants. If through the sharing that takes place during the Ultreya group reunion, the team members feel this fallen Cursillista is feeling change in his environment, then this person should rightly be asked to share that information at a future Ultreya. Got that, right? The Ultreya leaders responsible for assigning witness speakers must be aware of that fact, that there are many levels of witness talks. It is important to maintain a good balance between all these levels. Level 1, basic witness talk, usually given by the newer Cursillistas. Remember the 4th day? It's usually 1 to 6 months in the Ultreya. We normally do this on the 4th day after the weekend, when the new graduates are introduced to the community. This type of witness will focus on a reflection on where they were, where they are now, how they got there, and the joy and sorrows experienced along the way. It is important to occasionally have these types of witnesses for 2 reasons. The first reason is to have the newer Cursillistas become an accepted part of the larger community. That's when we normally welcome them to the community. And the second one is helping the seasoned Cursillistas, that's all of us, to remember the journey that they have been on. Level 2 is typical witness, given by anyone striving to put into practice all 3 elements of holiness, formation, and evangelization. This witness should provide distinct examples of each phase of apostolic growth. It should show the relationship of each of these 3 phases. The evangelization phase may be focused more on individual effort at transformation, such as through friends, family, and neighbors. Level 3, I'm really confused with level 3 also. Let me read it to you. Evangelization of environment witness, given by someone who has made a conscientious effort to transform a particular environment. This witness should explain the procedures used by the speaker to establish a new Christian environment within her environment. I didn't understand. Can you tell us later? Okay. He will continue my talk. Actually, I wanted to call somebody, but anyway.
The affirmation.
Yeah, affirmation. After the witness talk, we go to comments. So, the speaker witness talks, and then now we need 3. Usually we have 1 or 2. So, following the witness talk, there should be 2 Cursillistas who will give 1 to 2 minutes. Remember this, 1 to 2 minutes. Comments about their views of the information in the witness talk. Each of the commentators should have heard the talk prior it being given at the Ultreya. Oh, that's what I was saying. It has to be given prior to the talk itself. Those providing the comments should avoid giving an additional witness talk themselves. I just did this one the other Ultreya, and I was teased that I was giving my own witness talk. Remember? So anyway, their comments should stay focused with the speaker. It is highly encouraged for the commentators to share how the witness speaker encouraged them to try something that they may have overlooked in the past. Sincerity makes for an authentic comments. When selecting the commentators, a similar experience should be shared by the witness speaker and the person who will do the affirmation. If the speaker is talking about a certain crisis in a family atmosphere, then the commentator should be talking of his own experience of the same crisis in his own family. Obviously, not somebody else's life story. The next one after the comments is, we usually have the spiritual advisor summation. The spiritual advisor summation is to be given by either a priest, a deacon, or a vowed religious. Lay person, no matter how much training they have received, are not to present this summation. I just heard this just last week ago also. If a lay person has to do it, she must not call it a summation. It can be referred to as a reflection or a simply comment. Only authorized, ordained people can do summation. I guess terminology is very important. The spirit is only for deacon, basically. The spiritual advisor for the Ultreya should have heard the witness presentation prior to it being given at the Ultreya. And sometimes, it's just saying, sometimes it's happened, but for next time, it should always be given to deacon. So from the information, the spiritual advisor should prepare summation in light of the gospel. This is the point where the spiritual advisor attempts to unite the evangelic growth with the spiritual growth. The spiritual advisor should focus the comments to the contents of the witness talk and the two commentators. This summation should further encourage the participants to go forth and evangelize with the gospel spirit. And deacon always does a very good job of that. The next one normally is a visit to Blessed Sacrament. This is another thing that it's hard for us. So whenever possible, it says, the Ultreya should conclude with a visit to the Blessed Sacrament for the purpose of closing the Ultreya with prayer. Having a closing prayer to conclude the Ultreya is essential, even if it is not possible to visit the Blessed Sacrament. Just as a prayer of thanksgiving is appropriate after we recognize that God has answered our previous prayer, a closing prayer is an appropriate end to an activity that we have called on the Lord's to bless at its beginning, at the opening prayer. So, to recap the essential elements of the Ultreya, the first one is prayer. We begin and end every Ultreya with an acknowledgement that without Christ, we can do nothing. The second one is a group reunion. We all know the small group reunion, right? This enables each person to experience how others are striving with their own spiritual and evangelistic growth. Remember the PSA? So, just want to remind you, when an Ultreya coordinator suggests that we all move around, it's because it's said here. It's not because we just want to be difficult. So that's when you get up and go to different tables. So, and then the next one will be witness talk. Here we have the opportunity for a Cursilista to fully elaborate on the situations that they deal with as they strive to utilize the methods of Cursillo. Number 4 is the commentators or the affirmation. These are the Cursilistas that provide additional support to the witness that has been presented. This should help awaken a desire amongst the participants to go forth and do the same. The 5th one is the spiritual advisor summation. This is a time for putting the witness and the commentaries in the proper perspective with the gospel, the church, and other elements of the church. So that ends my presentation tonight. Thank you.